Hi guys, in today's video I thought I'd do something that I've never ever done before in my life. I thought I'd try something that's going to be a little different, could be a little bit controversial, but I'm sure it's going to benefit those of you watching this at the end of the video. So as some of you know, I like to try different things out on this channel. I like to come up with ideas that are going to help you clean a car quicker and safer and benefit you in the process. So a couple of weeks ago I started using this Tornador air cannon and I was blown away by its performance for interior cleaning, and that got me thinking, if it's good at cleaning the interior of a car, what would it be like on cleaning the engine bay of a car? So you may have seen some of my other engine bay videos. We've done snow foaming, pressure washing, and we've even used a steam cleaner, some of which can be controversial, but this one in fact could be even more controversial because I'm going to stand here right now and say I'm going to cover up absolutely nothing. Now I'm taking a monumental risk here because this is a client's car. If it goes wrong, I'm going to have to fork out for any damage. But if it goes right, I may have just solved the quickest way to clean your engine bay. I can't wait much longer. Let's jump straight into the video.
So this engine bay had the usual dried dirt and grease on it, but I was feeling quite confident because I had my secret weapon.
So I've already blown out everything in the engine bay, but I haven't used a Tornador or an air compressor for that matter because I've used something different. But to find out what it is, you need to subscribe to the channel because that video is coming in a couple of weeks' time. I don't know how this is going to work out. I've never used this on paint before or anything like a dirty engine bay, so I'm completely in the dark here as much as you guys. So I don't really know at this point how many cloths I'm going to get through, but if I add any more, I'm starting off with 2 by the way, but if I do use any more, then I will mention it in the video just how many cloths it's taken to get this engine bay looking good.
All I'm doing here is holding the trigger and letting the cannon do all the work. The cloth is merely here just to assist with the final wipe. Mind you, you could get away with just using the cannon on its own with the dial turned off.
This is absolutely awesome. I can't believe how clean it is. And I know it's one of those areas where people might go, oh, it doesn't really get that dirty under the bonnet anyway. And I've only quickly gone over it. It's taken about a minute to do the entire thing. And I would say that is way more effective than spraying it, brushing it, and following it up afterwards by wiping it. One thing you do have to be careful of, obviously, is the mess you're going to be making around the car, such as on the glass and that. Ideally, you want to be doing this before you do anything else with the car. So there's no point in giving it a decent wash if you're then going to have it all polished up and then do the engine bay last. It just wouldn't make sense. So I'm very happy with how the bonnet looks. Now I want to work on the gutters, start around the outside and work my way in. But as far as the bonnet goes, it's a pass.
When cleaning the gutters around the engine bay, you need to be very careful because you may scratch the car, so always take extra precautions. Honestly, I was amazed how much of an improvement this Tornador was making on the plastics. It was definitely offering a better clean compared to the steamer in my previous engine bay video. And it was less messier than the pressure washer as well.
Right, so we have done the gutters now, and I have to say 95% of it is all good. We've got no dirt on it whatsoever. However, when you look close here where all this thick white grease is, unfortunately it hasn't been able to shift it. But here's another point that I need to get across to you, because when you look close, and let me just grab something to scratch it, if we use this key, unless I scratch it really hard, that ain't coming off. So the next thing you really got to ask yourself is, would a chemical be able to do the same job? I'm still not so sure. So now I want to clean around some of the fluid containers. So we've got brake fluid, coolant and steering fluid, and we have a few pipes here. This is going to be the next section that I want to focus on. So we're not going to get to the electrics yet, and we're going to save that bit till the very last.
I was barely just getting started with this clean, and it was incredible just how every bit of dirt was just blasted away in no time at all. And I didn't have any issues with the rubber hoses, and the plastic came up as good as new. So what you may have noticed here was me turning the chemical dial on and off, and the reason being was because I wanted to keep everything as dry as possible. And because it was my first attempt at cleaning an engine bay with a new tool, I thought it would be best to play it safe in case I did go a bit OTT with it. And this method was very important, especially near where the battery and fuses were. So I used minimal chemical, and I think if you are a beginner, this is actually a better method. And also when you factor in the time taken even to get to this stage, it just makes sense. Now obviously you have to consider the risk involved with engine bay cleaning with getting certain areas wet, so you can still cover up the alternator and the battery if they are exposed. But I used around 25 ml of chemical and 200 ml of water, so that's not even half a standard spray bottle. So when people say it's safer just to use a spray bottle and a brush, then I would have to argue the case for the Tornador in its favour.
Okay, so all in all, I'd say the majority of this engine bay is looking brilliant. I'm so impressed the way that it's just cleaned everything very quickly. There are a couple of little things that really do bother me, and they might bother you, and that's just where this car has literally been smothered in white grease. Now it has splattered everywhere you can possibly imagine, and I hate to be that guy who suggests doing this, because I know detailers, again, they get funny about sponges, but in this instance, you might have to resort to using a scourer pad with a bit of pre-wash, because look what happens when I scrub it, and I am putting moderate pressure here, it actually does come off, and that's something the Tornador and a microfiber cloth won't be able to do. And it's funny because earlier in the video, I had multiple cloths and a brush, and I was thinking, well, okay, well, I'm going to get through quite a few of these. But it turns out I'm still on cloth number 1. So at the minute, it's so far so good. I mean, look at this. I can try and wring it out. It's not even wet, it's just lightly damp. And I can see a few more areas like over here, for example, that I need to go over again. But I'm just going to go over it quickly now, and then I may dress it up. But I'm just not sure whether I should bother too much with this, because I don't want this video to look like, oh look, I've transformed everything with the Tornador, because technically I wouldn't have then. If I've used a sponge, then I've sort of cheated a little. So I want to give you guys a realistic expectation as to how far you can go with the Tornador alone. So it's just something that you need to be aware of. So I think just to finish the car off now, I'm just going to spray some quick detailer on all the shiny parts, and then we're going to dress the plastics up with using this right here, and this is called Plastic Coat from Infinity Wax. I did feature it on a video last week. I will put a link to that video in the description below. Do go check it out after this one, because I think it's a great product to have. It's something that every single car valeter and detailer should have, because it does offer a long durability, and trust me, once you dress these plastics, they are going to look fantastic.
When finishing off the engine bay, I like to keep it nice and simple. In most cases, a quick detailer and a dressing is plenty good enough. However, if you are working on something extra special, then you will have to break out the polish for those odd little bits. But other than that, for your everyday run-of-the-mill cars, this is the best method.
So I'm hoping you can agree with me when I say this, but I truly believe that this engine bay looks really good. Now, it has only taken me 10 minutes to get these results. Now, I have to exclude the fact that I've been moving the camera and the lighting and everything for the YouTube video, but apart from that, the actual cleaning process itself really hasn't taken any longer than 10 minutes at all. And that's to get these results. And I still didn't even use the brush, and I stuck with one microfiber cloth. Even for the dressing, I just applied it on with a sponge, and I used nothing else. We didn't buff it off afterwards, we just let it set. So I'm happy with the results, but we can't say this has been a full success yet, because there's one thing I haven't done, and that is turn the engine on, because if this doesn't work, I'm going to be very upset, and so will my customer. Oh yes, it starts. I mean, I expected that to happen anyway. I had no doubts whatsoever. As for my channel, I have some more videos coming up later on in the week, and if you love videos like this and you want to know more about engine bay cleaning, I have 2 different alternatives, one with a pressure washer and one with a steam cleaner. You can go and watch both of those videos right here.